You can't be aggressive if somebody else is controlling your money for you. You know why? They can be aggressive. You can't be aggressive. Why? Because you don't control what's going to happen.
Hey Trap, this is Miss D from Columbus, Ohio. I'm 54 years old and I currently have a brokerage account that's being managed by a financial advisor. I've been taking your classes and watching your videos, and you said that you should always manage your own portfolio. It's now 2025, and that's something that I would like to do. My question is, which brokerage accounts would you use, and what should you invest in? I currently have a traditional Roth IRA in those accounts, and I also have a TOD account, which is a transfer on death account. And I'm currently invested in index and mutual funds, and I have some REITs and some ETFs. But now I'm looking to be a little bit more moderate/aggressive with my account because I want to retire in the next 5 or 7 years. Again, my question is, which brokerage accounts would you use, and what should you invest in? Thanks, Trap. I'm trapping.
Hey, Miss D. Salute to you, Queen. For y'all felt that warm hug? That was a warm hug. So first of all, let me congratulate you for just having the courage to say, yo, I want to take control of my financial destiny. So, want to retire in 5 to 7 years. And y'all know my saying, I think that anybody can be a millionaire in 5 to 7 years. I think that's so doable. The first thing I would say is I do think that everybody should, and it's not me knocking the financial advisors, I think that anybody should, I think everybody should take control of their own money. And the reason why I think everybody should take control of their own money, because I truly don't feel like nobody can't tell me they want better for my money than me. I don't care if I tell you my goals, my dreams, you ain't gonna tell me what's best for my money. You gonna tell me a product that best benefits you. Now, you may not, all financial advisors are wired differently. Some actually care, right? Some actually are designed not to, just sell you a product. They actually want you to succeed, right? But they are also programmed to put in front of you the best product that their company has. It's the best they can do. What I personally feel is you set the goal first. So the goal is, Trap, I want to retire in 5 to 7 years. Excuse me. The second thing you said was, I want to be moderately aggressive. We ready now. Because the first thing we identify is a goal. 5 to 7 year retirement. You gave us a goal. The second thing was you understood your temperament as an investor. I want to be, moderately aggressive. 2 things you put out the market. 2 things you put out there. One thing you're not going to do with you can't be aggressive with mutual funds. You can't be aggressive if somebody else is controlling your money for you. You know why? They can be aggressive. You can't be aggressive. Why? Because you don't control what's going to happen. Secondly, part of that is every time you're letting somebody else control your money, you always got to pay them a percentage for controlling it. So the money you are paying them is doing what? Taking away from your return. The money you are paying them is taken away from your return. So the first thing you got to understand is, I would say, let's do 2 things. The first thing is, 1, I would not take full control of my account until I learn how to navigate the market. That's 1. So the first thing I'll do is I say, okay, whatever I'm putting, and this is me. This is not me telling you what to do, Miss D. I'm going to say Mama D. This is not me telling you what to do, Mama D. This is saying what would Trap do if he was in that position. So the first thing I would do is I would say, okay, How much am I allocating to this? One, I would keep the traditional Roth IRA. Don't get rid of that. That's going to help you with taxes. What I would do is I would get it self-funded. Well, you can take control of it, right? That's what I would do first. I would take control of that. Because if you get rid of it, there's probably a penalty and all that. So I would see, what does it look like? What is the rules? What is the payment plan? What is the penalties for you taking control of that? Because that IRA is going to allow you to do what? Play the tax game. It's going to allow you to make money. And then when you do retire at that age, you don't pay the taxes in that based on the age requirement. That's one. One of the ways that you get killed in retirement is in building wealth in general is through taxes. So the first thing you want to do is see, what does it look like for you to take control of that so you can control it, right? What does the rollover look like? What is the penalties involved? You got to be aware of that. The second thing is, again, knowledge and information, because you don't want to just take over just because you don't want them to control it. You want to take over when you have the confidence. What I would say is you in the Patreon, so you have some control right there. The next thing I'll say is, okay, here's what I'm going to tell you. And people not going to agree with me on this, right? Being aggressive, you can't be aggressive with REITs. You can't be aggressive with REITs. So now you got to make a decision. You got to ask yourself this question. You got to say, I need 2 accounts. I need one account. I can keep that as my Roth IRA, where I use this account to trade or build out a portfolio that will be passive. This is what I would do. I would say, okay, I'm going to take the Roth IRA. Now, you can trade options out of that. But remember, there's a minimum on the money you can have in that. But once you trade options out of it, you're good. But me personally, I would use the Roth IRA as my buy and hold account that I use the option market to fund. That way, I'm never taking money out the buy and hold Roth IRA. I'm always putting money in it, and I'm never risking the retirement money. Right? Because when you say I want to be aggressive, you're going to be aggressive 2 ways. You're going to be aggressive in trading, and you're going to be aggressive with growth stocks. So the way to do that is you let the Roth IRA fund, you let the options market fund your Roth IRA, which is somewhere about, what, $65,000 to $7,000 a year, somewhere like that a year. So you're going to make that aggressive. You're going to go, you know, I wouldn't go a lot of stocks in there. You got to ask yourself, do I want this to be a portfolio that pays me dividends and have growth? Because now you can get companies like Meta. All the Mag 7 now don't pay dividends except for Tesla. NVIDIA pays dividends. Apple pays dividends. Microsoft pays dividends. Meta pays dividends. Google pays a dividend now. Right? So all your Mag 7 now pays dividends. So you can ask yourself, what part of the Mag 7 do I want to keep? Where do I want to be aggressive? And you can keep the REITs, but you gotta say, okay, I want to go with quality REITs. So if I go quality, I'm gonna go Prologis, right? Somebody like that. I'm cool with that. I'm not gonna go Old Realty. That's just me. I'm gonna go Prologis, and I'm gonna go find 1 or 2 other companies that pay really good dividends. I'm gonna lock in with that. Okay, 8. Oh, she over 50. Yep. So that's 8. Now you get to go up a little more if you over 50. So that's 8K. Thank you for that. Right. So I'm gonna go REIT. I'm gonna go Prologis because you can get that money. I may even go SPG, Simon Property Group. Great dividend. I ain't mad at those. So now you got 2 strong, solid dividends. And then I'm gonna go find me 2 other strong dividend companies that's gonna pay them. That has a little I'm Costco. You know what I'm saying? Something like that, that's strong. But then in there, I won't have 10 companies, right? And I have a mixture of, I'll have those 2 REITs, I'll have the rest, I'll have those 2 REITs, and I'll go, personally, if you want to go aggressive, I'm not going index fund. If I am going index or ETF, I'm going tech, SMH, I'm going AIQ, SMH, QQQ. That's where I'm going at. That's aggressive. May even go home builders, Toll Brothers, something like that, right? The next thing I'm gonna go do is I'm gonna go figure out this option market, and I'm gonna tell myself, how much am I already putting in the 401k? How much am I letting them people invest for me? Once I figure that out, I'm gonna say, yo, I'm gonna take a part of what I'm letting them invest for me. I'm going on my own. And then I'm gonna be aggressive with my spending habits. So I'm gonna say, you know what? I gotta cut these things out, because now you gotta create a financial blueprint. And I know this may be long, Jose, but I gotta, you know what I'm saying? I gotta create the financial blueprint, because what we said earlier, we said what? You gotta understand, when you step to the line of scrimmage to play the game, you always the visiting team. And so you gotta recognize what the offense is, what the defense is presenting to you with. So what you gotta tell yourself now is, you gotta say, okay, how much am I now? Jose, can we reach? They're saying we have 5,000 in the chat, bro.
Bro, we hit it and then they jumped right back.
Damn, I gotta see
We
it,
touched
bro.
it. It was like 5,020, and then it was like, oh.
I gotta see it, dog. All right. So the next thing I'm gonna do is say, okay, what's my financial formula moving forward? Meaning, how much am I going to commit to investing? And watch this. How much am I going to commit to trading? You making a big decision here. You saying, I'm going to take $7,000, $8,000 a year and put in my 401k regardless, right? Regardless. So now you got to say, what do I got to cut back on? Because now you give yourself a 5 to 7 year goal, which I personally know for a fact you could be a millionaire, right? So what is this here? And now and to reside, the American dream is now $4.4 million. It takes to acquire the American dream. And now it takes the average American $2.1 million to find financial freedom in America. So put that in your head. $4.4 million for the American dream, meaning the house, the car, whatever. $2.2 million to retire safely. Right, Jose, they said we got 5.2 million in the chat. 5.2 thousand, I say 5.2 million. 5.2 thousand in the chat. We get 5.2 million in the chat. Hey, we going somewhere with that. We taking that number somewhere. Right, so the next thing I want you to do is say, okay, what's my financial formula? My next financial formula is, I already said that I got to put $7,000, $8,000 in my 401k every year. And I'm aggressive over that. We understood that. And once you get those 5 to 10, once you get those 10 companies, watch what I'm about to tell you here. Once you get those 5 to 10 companies, you are now focusing on the 4 of those have to be, at least half of those got to be dividend stocks. Remember, what we're going to do with those dividends is, I'm going to tell you this, every time the market pulls back a little bit on those, you buy them. You're not worrying about the stock price because you're there for the dividend. Now, on your growth stocks, where you're being aggressive at, you definitely want to, healthy pullbacks are good, right? But for the ones, for the SPG, for the Pelagius, for the other 2 you're going to use for dividends, you're not focusing on stock price, you're focusing on building a portfolio. So what you want to do is, every time part of that $8,000, you saying, okay, $4,000 of it going right here. This is what I'm doing. This is what I'm doing. And you're not worrying about the price. You're just doing it. You just get them in there, and then your other companies, you want to get healthy pullbacks on because you want the right price on them. Now, the next thing you're going to do is say, I'm going to use this much of my money to play the options more. Great thing is, you're in a Patreon. So you saying, okay, this is now, with this one, you saying, I'm going to build this out, but you're going to pay taxes on these. Right? You're going to pay taxes on this money, right? So what you want to do is say, okay, you start with one contract. You start with that one contract until you're confident enough to go 2 contracts. But I want you to do over there is, I want you to at least have $3,000 to $4,000 in the options account before you make your first play. Why? Your first play gonna cost you anywhere between $1,000 to $3,000 depending on the play. I still want you to have at least $2,000 to $3,000 on the side. So anywhere between $2,000 to $5,000 or $2,000 to $6,000 in that trading account. I don't want you to have $1,000 in there trading with it, $2,000 in there trading with it, $3,000 in there trading with it. I want you to be able to make a trade and still have money on the side. So I want you to take that first. Once you get $3,000 to $5,000 in that trading account, your first play, you move. You're not taking no money out these accounts at all. I don't care if a tsunami hit. I don't care. You're not taking no money out these accounts. You're going to now label this account the Freedom Fund. That's what this account is called. Because you got 5 to 7 years to make yourself free. And so that means I don't care what happens in life, you're not touching that Roth, you're not touching, I don't care if it's emergency. I don't care. I don't care. You're not touching it. You're not touching it. Because the minute you touch it once, you now okayed it in your brain that you can dip out of this pot. You're not touching it. So first thing you're going to do is, you're going to say, boom. Once I get comfortable enough to turn this 1 contract to 2, the next level you on now is 2 contracts. I don't want you to be in more than 1 play until you done reach the level where you can get 4 to 5 contracts. As long as you're still getting 1 contract and 2 contracts, I want you in 1 play. I don't want you to listen to all the noise. I want you in 1 play, and I want you to find the 1 play that you feel is best. Once you get to 4 to 5 contracts, then you can say, okay, I can do 1 contract over here, 2 contracts over here, or 2 contracts over here, 2 contracts over here, but I never want you with 0 money on the side. If you get in 2 different plays, you got to at least have 0.25% of those positions in cash. Whatever those 2 plays cost you, I want you to have at least 0.25% of that in cash. Why? Because I want you to program yourself to keep having cash on the side. You gotta have that. And so now we just working the game. And then you keep doing 1, 2 plays. Remember, they're gonna have some pullbacks. You gotta not panic. You stay in the game. And then we move a little forward. Once we get to 5 contracts, and I'm gonna tell you what's real. Once we get to 10 contracts, the whole game has changed. Because once you get to 10 contracts, now you're talking about printing 5 figures every time you make a play. Once you get to 10 contracts, you've put yourself into a position where you're making 5 figures every time you make a play. And I promise you, by the time you at least a year in, you should be ready to do 10 contracts. If you start today, by next year, you should be at 10 contracts. Once we get to 10 contracts, we play that game. Now we thinking, we zooming out, we looking long term. Once you up, you don't, watch this, you never got to get too greedy. But I got 10, I got to go get 20. No, from 10, the next thing is 12. You don't got to get too greedy. You go from 10 to 12. Remember, we got a 5 to 7 year goal. We don't have to try to get it in 3. The biggest issue is you have a 5 to 7 year goal. You try to get it all in 1 or 2 years. No, you gave yourself 5 to 7 years to retire. What does that mean? By year 6, we should have retirement taken care of. By year 7, house money. What I mean by that, whatever the financial goal is, what we said $4.4 million American dream, $2.2 million to retire safely. I'm telling you, you could be a millionaire 5 to 7 years. So that means by year 5, if we doing the thing where we supposed to be at, by year 5, we should be done accomplished it. By year 5.5 at best, by year 6, we should be in house position. House money. We're never touching, watch me here, we're never touching the money out the market. But here's where it's going to get good at. Once you get the account to where you having $300,000, anywhere between $100,000 and $200,000 in profits, you got to now go get you a CPA. Because H&R Block don't know how to help you right here. TurboTax, they don't know how to account for this right here. You got to go get a CPA now because you've now, watch this, you now entered a tax bracket where you have, outside of your working income, you've now entered another tax bracket because you've upped the 100K in profits, and that's investment income that you've made out of the market, which is probably taxed at that same rate because you're not holding it a year and a day. So you got to go to a CPA to help you with that. The worst thing you can do is start getting $100,000, $200,000 in profits and still going to the same CPA. Once you start making more money, you got to start getting with people who know how to help you make that kind of money. So now you got to go get a CPA who not going to charge you that much money to say, hey, I'm making this on my job, but guess what? I've made 100 grand in profits in the market. I've made 200 grand in profits in the market. Do you deal with individuals who make money in the market? And if you do, can you show me some of the strategies that you have? Do not commit out the gate. Go shop with 2 or 3 of them that can give you an idea, and then you go find somebody who has a CPA. Remember, you don't got to rush this. You don't got to feel pressured. You go find somebody that got a CPA and say, hey, check this out. I got a CPA. I'm making 100,000, 200,000 in the market. What does your CPA handle situations like this? And I promise you, Queen, 5 to 7 years, we can not only retire, but we can retire comfortably. Let's go, Jose.